Hello all, it's your boy Joel, and I'm a long-term Minecraft diehard whose journey started all the way back on the Xbox 360 console edition. And I have to say, it is very different now compared to when it was first released onto consoles. Thanks for tuning into my new series, Joel Talks Gaming. Today's episode is how Minecraft on console hits different today. Before we commence, make sure you follow the podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat and Twitch, and subscribe to my YouTube channel as it helps out a huge bunch. By the way, since I don't have a console to record gameplay from a specific version I'll be talking about in this video, here's some background gameplay of Java to compromise. But without further ado, let's get straight into it, shall we? As any long-term Minecraft fan would know, the original port of Minecraft was none other than the Legacy Console Edition, created by none other than 4J Studios. Console Edition was many Minecraft players' first version, myself included. Just how Java might be yours, or even Pocket, hell even Bedrock if you started playing a bit later. This particular Minecraft port was heavily inspired by Java, and even had some things added or refined to make the game easier to play on console with a controller, or, well, just in general. The first port of the console edition was released back in May 2012 on the Xbox 360, and it was a hit. Now you didn't need a PC just to play Minecraft when you had the Xbox 360 version. Get this. Back in the 360 days, PCs were hard to get your hands on. Either you would have a PC handed to you second hand, or you would have to borrow or rent one. Nowadays, you can basically save up and buy your own PC. Anyway, with the release of the 360 edition, more people could get into Minecraft since consoles were far more accessible than PCs. And with the success of the Xbox 360 edition, along came the PS3 edition a year and a half later, in December 2013. However, there were a few issues. PS3 edition wasn't as stable as the Xbox 360 edition, particularly in multiplayer, though that was probably the result of PSN being less reliable than Xbox Live at that time when it came to multiplayer. Before you know it, the Xbox One and PS4 were released, and in September 2014, 4J Studios released Minecraft ports for those consoles. PS4 edition actually came out before the Xbox One edition just by a day, though some people might argue they came out at the same time as one another, which, I'm sorry, isn't true. A month after that, in October that same year, saw the release of the PS Vita edition, the first handheld ports of Minecraft besides Pocket Edition on your phones, which is now known as Bedrock, but we'll get to there soon enough. PS Vita edition is also the only non-Nintendo handheld port of the Legacy game. It surprisingly has all the features intact from the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions despite the Vita's hardware limitations, and there was also an option to transfer your worlds on your Vita to your PS3 and vice versa before the versions were discontinued in 2019. After Notch sold Mojang to Microsoft, then came the first Nintendo-based Minecraft platform, the Wii U edition, released in December 2015, which came bundled with the Super Mario Mashup Pack, which came pre-installed on Nintendo platforms from then on. The Wii U edition had this gimmick, we all know what it is, it's the gamepad. When it comes to Minecraft, the gamepad is such wasted potential. Because despite having the gamepad turned on, you can only play the game on the TV or the gamepad. You can't have it on both. Even if you think you can play the game on the TV while managing your inventory on the gamepad, that's not going to work. Even when it comes to local multiplayer, you can't have one player on the TV and one player on the gamepad. They have to both be on the TV, which is something I really do not like about the Wii U edition. Speaking of Nintendo, Minecraft was also released on the Switch in May of 2017. Before a certain version came out, the Switch had an exclusive feature where if you were to dock your Switch, the render distance would double, something that the other certain version still doesn't do to this day. Now, the next isn't an official console edition port by any means, despite being titled like one. It's outsourced to a different studio and it's a stripped down version of Bedrock, but it's titled as if it was a Legacy port, so I'll consider it a spin-off to the console Legacy version. Meet 3DS Edition. New 3DS Edition. No idea why Nintendo decided to make 2 generations of 3DS, but whatever floats Nintendo's boat, I guess. 3DS Edition isn't developed by 4J Studios, and is instead developed by Other Ocean Interactive, a studio I hadn't heard of until I knew about the 3DS Edition. 3DS Edition is the more controversial port of Minecraft, as it contains lots of bugs, crashing and heavy lag spikes, all of which only got worse with updates. Well, I mean, it's basically just a heavily stripped down version of Bedrock, so what did you expect? Minigames! Any OG Minecraft console player knows about them. And the newer console you had, the more players you got to play with. For instance, Xbox 360 and Wii U had 8 players, while Xbox One and PS4 had 16. Sometime in June of 2016, 4J Studios came up with the idea to give the console editions of Minecraft minigames. These minigames were created to give the console players built-in server-like experiences, adding things like PvP, Spleef and Elytra racing. Obviously, this excluded 3DS edition as well. Like I said, it's technically a spin-off console board developed by someone else, so only the other 7 actual console editions got this. The idea was to have these minigames present like servers, since unlike other versions like Java or Bedrock, the console editions couldn't run on servers due to its technical architecture and the original design constraints of the older console's hardware. For instance, worlds were capped at 864 by 864 blocks on the Xbox 360, PS3, Vita and Wii U, so there was basically no chance of them being able to run on servers. Despite that, minigames ended up being successful and loved. Some people even prefer the minigames to actual servers. Behind the scenes, Microsoft had been working on an entirely new version of Minecraft for consoles, Bedrock Edition. In short, it was Pocket Edition that had been converted to work on consoles and PCs. Not very well, I admit, but well enough for Microsoft's liking, clearly. This was one of the most controversial changes in the history of Minecraft, if not the most controversial. Bedrock released for Xbox and Windows in September 2017, Switch in June of 2018, and PlayStation in December of 2019. At first, Sony wasn't up for Minecraft on PlayStation being cross-playable with Xbox and Nintendo, with the addition of having to link to a Microsoft account just to play online. That meant PlayStation 4 Edition, the legacy console PlayStation 4 Edition, outlived the rest of the legacy console edition ports. That was until Microsoft forced them to migrate to Bedrock, of course. While the Bedrock fiasco was going on, Xbox 360, PS3, Vita, Wii U and 3DS were all discontinued in 2019, since the hardware was obsolete and it would be hard to balance out updates, features and performance on the older consoles. Or in the case of the 3DS, it was just a flop. Regardless, with the legacy console editions discontinued, Bedrock came to stay. There is definitely a lot of hate for Bedrock, even today in the modern age, despite this change being like 6-7 years ago. Go on, ask a Minecraft player what their favourite version is. Oh yeah, I like Java Edition, yeah. With that said, despite all the negative criticism that Bedrock received, there's also a lot of positives about Bedrock as well. For one, there was crossplay. You no longer had to buy a PS4 to play on your friend's world because you were stuck using an Xbox 360. It's exactly what it seems. You can literally play with your friends playing on an Xbox One directly from your dinky little Hewlett-Packard laptop. Who would have thought of that? There's also Realms, where you can have an online world hosted on a Mojang server where you don't have to be in said world for others to play on it. Unlike with regular worlds where you have to be in it, because Realms are hosted on Microsoft servers, unlike a regular world which is hosted peer-to-peer from someone else's console. But considering this is a completely new version of Minecraft at this time, which was different to the previous version, obviously there are downsides. The first and most obvious downside, monetization. Bedrock has a microtransaction known as the Minecoin, an in-game currency used to purchase maps and skins from the marketplace. It's even gotten to the point where servers now charge you for it, either for pay-to-win items or battle passes. Minecoins aren't present in Java, nor were they present in console. And yeah, sure, console had a store too, but the prices for DLC were generally more reasonable than they are in Bedrock. Imagine paying money for mods and skins you normally would get for free on Java, you idiot. Buy a PC and install modded Java with Sodium at this point. If you know much about mods, that is. Not to mention, there are also subscriptions. There's Realms Plus, and then there's the Marketplace Pass. Marketplace Pass is similar to like Netflix or Game Pass Ultimate, if you will, where you get add-ons and skins and that for like free until they get removed from the Marketplace Pass. You know, all that kind of jazz. And then Realms is the subscription if you want an online world. But if you're an owner of a realm and your realm subscription expires, you can't access your realm unless you renew your subscription. If your subscription is left inactive long enough, your realms get removed from your Microsoft account. Oddly enough, you don't have to pay a subscription if you were to join a realm, only to create one. The second reason is bugs and crashes. Microsoft wanted Bedrock to come out ASAP, and as a result, this game is a buggy mess because it was rushed. Especially on lower end systems like the Nintendo Switch or a dinky little Hewlett-Packard laptop, Bedrock has a tendency to run at low frame rates and even freeze and full-on crash. And this is not what Minecraft players want when they want to play a long-term survival world and kill the Ender Dragon, or if they wanted to build a house made out of diamonds in creative mode, if you're into that. And I am not exaggerating when I say, I have had my Nintendo Switch run as low as 5 frames per second when I was playing in a world, and it is just unavoidable in some cases. Granted, most of it is probably due to updates mostly. Most notably, Caves and Cliffs. This is because Caves and Cliffs has much larger world generation than previous updates, that the older consoles frankly wouldn't have been able to run on Caves and Cliffs in the first place. Had Legacy Console Edition had continued, Xbox One, PS4 and Switch editions would have likely gotten worse with performance anyway, and Xbox 360, PS3, Vita and Wii U would have gotten discontinued either way or the other, regardless of Microsoft forcing Bedrock upon console players. Despite its controversy, however, it and Java Edition are still being updated to the present day. And that's where we are today, the only 2 available Minecraft versions being Java on Windows, Mac and Linux, and Bedrock everywhere else. At the end of the day, I guess it's just easier and less stressful in the developer's perspective to unify one specific version of the game and only have to worry about updating it in Java, rather than having to focus on several other ports of the game, even on consoles as old as, say, the Xbox 360 or as weak as the Wii U. Needless to say, the console editions will be a part of many Minecraft players' journeys, especially mine, and if you're lucky enough, you'll still probably be able to play it if you have an Xbox 360, Wii U or PS3 knocking about. Well, that's it for today's video. As always, be sure to give this video a like rating as it helps me out a huge bunch, and subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this in the future. Also, be sure to follow me on my socials, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok and Twitch, as you'll catch me posting there as well. See you in the next one.